Hello there, I'm Anita Wu and you're watching Nightline. News making the headlines. Government and opposition MPs show of strength in numbers for Tun Dr. Mahathir. And several killed in Turkey as a 5.7 magnitude earthquake strikes near Iran border. We begin our bulletin with this story. A total of 131 members of Parliament attended a major dinner at Sheraton Hotel in Petaling Jaya, Selangor on Sunday night. The function saw the attendance of members of Parliament from Bersatu, PKR, Warisan, UMNO, MCA, PAS, MIC and Gabungan Parti Sarawak, GPS. The dinner was held to gather all those who support Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad to complete a full term. Among those present were Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia Bersatu President Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, UMNO President Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, MCA President Datuk Sri Wee Ka Siong, PAS President Datuk Sri Abdul Hadi Awang and MIC President Tan Sri S.A. Vigneswaran. The function followed an audience for several party leaders with the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah at Istana Negara in the evening. A source at the Prime Minister's office said the Prime Minister had not gone to Istana Negara to seek an audience with the Yang di-Pertuan Agong as widely speculated earlier, and said there would be no media conference late Sunday. The venue of the dinner, PJ's Sheraton Hotel, was where Pakatan Harapan announced its historic election victory in 2018.
Saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada semua yang dapat bersama-sama pada malam ini dan menunggu sekian lama. InsyaAllah kita akan teruskan perjuangan. InsyaAllah kita akan teruskan perjuangan untuk melaksanakan agenda reformasi dan membangunkan negara dan memberikan kemakmuran pada semua rakyat Malaysia. Terima kasih.
And hours before the dinner, several important political closed-door meetings were held at several locations in the Klang Valley. The discussions were held separately involving Bersatu, UMNO, GPS and senior politicians linked to Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali. For Bersatu, its pre-council and Supreme Council meetings was chaired by Tun Dr. Mahathir. The meeting at the party's headquarters in Yayasan Selangor, which kicked off at 9 a.m, ended 6 hours later. A media conference after the meeting, slated for 3 p.m, was called off. When approached by the media, those who attended the meetings were tight-lipped about what was discussed in the meeting. Tun Dr. Mahathir then made his way to the Sheraton Hotel in Petaling Jaya, which was a kilometre away, where Datuk Sri Azmin had earlier met with dozens of ministers and MPs believed to be aligned with his faction in PKR. Foreign Minister Bersatu's Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah was also seen at the meeting. In the afternoon, UMNO called for a special Supreme Council meeting at its headquarters at the Putra World Trade Centre, PWTC. The meeting was called by Party President Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi. It started at 3:30 p.m. and ended just before 6 p.m. Even at PWTC, those who attended the meeting were tight-lipped on what was discussed. Besides these meetings, MPs from GPS had also converged at Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Kuala Lumpur to meet after Chief Minister Datuk Patinggi Abang Johari Abang Oping had called for a meeting at 2 p.m. Sunday's development comes less than 48 hours after a midnight media conference on Friday in which Tun Dr. Mahathir declared that he was still in charge and that Pakatan Harapan, PH Partners, had given him the trust to remain as Prime Minister for as long as he wanted. PH was formed in 2015 by PKR, DAP and Amanah following the breakup of Pakatan Rakyat, which previously united then opposition parties PAS, PKR and DAP. Any coalition needs 112 out of 222 MPs in the August House to form the government. In light of Sunday's developments, the DAP is set to hold an emergency meeting at its party headquarters at 12 p.m. on Monday. News portals quoted a source as saying that a text message was sent out a few hours ago asking party leaders to attend the meeting. All DAP members of parliament, as well as state assemblymen, have been told to be present. The meeting will be on the latest political developments, and Perak DAP chairman Nga Khor Ming, meanwhile, said anyone attempting to form a government without the mandate of the people will be in conflict with the federal constitution and illegitimate morally and legally. In his tweets late Sunday, Nga, who is also Dewan Rakyat Deputy Speaker, said that the only legitimate government is a government from the people, by the people and for the people. The Teluk Intan Member of Parliament added that the only legitimate government is a government from the people, by the people and once again for the people. Another Malaysian patient previously diagnosed with the COVID-19 infection has recovered. According to the Health Ministry on Sunday, this brings the total number of patients who have made a full recovery in Malaysia to 18. It also reduced the number of COVID-19 patients still warded in local hospitals to only 4 cases. The Ministry's Director General of Health, Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah, said that the latest patient to fully recover was discharged on Saturday. The patient is case 13, a 40-year-old Malaysian female who was confirmed with COVID-19 infection on February 5, 2020 and was treated at Sultanah Bahia Hospital, Al-Ostar. The latest recovery also means that all Malaysian patients in Malaysia with the COVID-19 infection have fully recovered. The remaining 4 cases in Malaysia are 3 Chinese nationals and 1 American. The 40-year-old Malaysian woman who was the latest to be discharged had reportedly praised the staff of the government hospital for the care given to her. She had also thanked the Malaysian government on its efforts to protect Malaysians from the COVID-19 virus, which resulted in her case being detected early. Meanwhile, China's National Health Commission announced a rise in new virus cases to about 650, bringing mainland China's total number of confirmed infections to 76,936. The Commission said 18 of the new cases were outside of Hubei province, the lowest number outside of the epicenter since authorities started publishing data a month ago. However, despite the surge in number of the new cases, the daily death toll reportedly fell slightly to 97, bringing the total death toll in the country to 2,444 people. Beyond China, South Korea's President Moon Jae-in today has placed the country on red alert after it reported its 5th death and more than 123 new coronavirus cases, taking the total number of infected to 556. The Korea Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said that 113 of the new cases were reported in the 4th largest city of Daegu and surrounding areas. The agency said 70 of them are linked to a branch of the Shincheonji Church in Daegu, which has become the biggest cluster of viral infections in the country, which now has a total of 556 cases. Meanwhile, the number of confirmed infections of COVID-19 in Italy, the most affected country in Europe, rose sharply to 79 in an outbreak that has claimed 2 lives in the country, prompting Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte to announce a ban on people entering or leaving worst impacted zones in the northern regions of Lombardy and Veneto. With an emergency decree passed at a meeting in the headquarters of Italy's Civil Protection Agency, authorities in the 2 regions have banned public gatherings, including Sunday Mass, and suspended sports events. Schools, universities, as well as businesses were closed down in an area southwest of Milan's Lombardy region, with around 50,000 residents who were told by authorities to remain indoors. In the meantime, a 6th death from the coronavirus has been reported in Iran, as authorities in more than a dozen affected provinces ordered the closure of schools, universities and cultural centers in a bid to contain the outbreak. Governor of the Markazi province, Ali Aghazadeh, said that tests of a patient who recently died in the central city of Arak were positive for the virus. So far, 28 cases have been confirmed in Iran, but it was not immediately clear if the 6th fatality was among those cases. Closer to home, Singapore's Health Ministry today confirmed and verified 3 more cases of COVID-19 infection in the Republic, bringing the total number of infected to 89. One of the new cases involved a 32-year-old male Singaporean who was among the group evacuated from Wuhan on February 9th. In a statement, the ministry said he was without symptoms when he boarded the flight and was put under quarantine upon landing in Singapore before he was confirmed to be infected with COVID-19 on February 21st. The patient is linked to a 1-year-old baby who was among the group of Singaporeans who were evacuated from Wuhan on the same day. In Johor, Pasir Gudang has become the first industrial city in the country to be equipped with a monitoring system that is capable of detecting air quality and hazardous airborne pollutants in order to provide early warning in the event of any contamination. Energy, Science, Technology, Environment and Climate Change Minister Yeo Bee Yin said the 6.9 million ringgit system is equipped with an alarm for detecting harmful pollutants in the air. This in turn then alerts the Department of Environment, DOE enforcement officers to take immediate action in the event of an air pollution incident. Yeo said this on Sunday as she tested the system at the Pasir Gudang Municipal Stadium. Yeo said after the Sungai Kim Kim pollution incident in March last year, the government did not want the incident to occur again and thought of ways to increase industrial monitoring in the area.
Ini adalah kali pertama di mana Jabatan Alam Sekitar menggunakan teknologi, menggunakan real-time sensors untuk mengatasi ataupun memantau industri. Ini adalah kerana kita selepas insiden Sungai Kim Kim, kerajaan do not want business as usual. Kita tidak nak ulang lagi apa yang kita buat, tapi kita nak meningkatkan lagi bagaimana kita boleh memantau industri-industri di sekitar Pasir Gudang.
She added that if proven successful, the system could be extended to other industrial areas throughout the country. In the meantime, the DOE has doubled its enforcement on factories and premises around Pasir Gudang so that all parties fully comply with the Environmental Quality Act 1974 and the regulations under it. 664 inspections were carried out last year compared to 460 the previous year. Meanwhile, Yeo said the new Environmental Act would be enacted if more amendments are made to the current Environmental Quality Act 1974. She said the ministry is fine-tuning the changes to be made before presenting them this year. The government on Sunday stressed that the recent increase in the price of Honda vehicles does not affect the current state of the automotive industry. The Finance Ministry said the government has always ensured that the taxation policy on the local assembly vehicle, CKD industry, would not impede business growth and increase CKD vehicle market prices. The ministry in a statement said that consumers will always benefit directly from the tax incentives enjoyed by CKD vehicle manufacturers through competitive sales prices, as well as indirect benefits through existing economic opportunities in line with the ambitions under the National Automotive Policy NAP 2020. The ministry said there had been no change in the excise duty or custom incentive policy under the Industrial Linkage Programme and stressed that the local automotive industry remains stable. The statement is in response to a media release made by Honda Malaysia on February 21st announcing a 5% to 9% increase in sales prices for some models and variants. The Home Ministry has approved the procurement of 4 helicopters worth 600 million ringgit for the Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency, MMEA. Its Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said it was to strengthen MMEA in carrying out its duties to protect the country's sovereign waters via Whitehall diplomacy. He said this in a speech in conjunction with the MMEA's 15th anniversary at Sultan Ahmad Shah Maritime Academy in Kuantan, Pahang on Sunday. His text speech was read out by the ministry's Secretary-General, Datuk Jamil Rakun. Tan Sri Muhyiddin said there were 349 oil and gas platforms in the country's waters, in addition to a nearly 77,000 cargo and oil vessels passing through the Straits of Malacca annually. He added that the ministry had agreed to provide an additional allocation of 3 million ringgit for facility repair work, bringing the total allocation for the purpose to 6 million ringgit this year. The ministry also hoped MMEA would be able to maintain zero piracy activities in the country's waters recorded last year. We're taking a short break, and when we return, 2 men fined for criminal threat against broadcast journalist. Do stay tuned. Welcome back. 2 men were fined by the Kuala Terengganu Magistrates Court on Sunday after they pleaded guilty to criminal intimidation via social media against TV3 broadcast journalists last month. Magistrate Nordiana Abdul Aziz ordered Muhammad Arif Fahmi Abdul Ghani, 33, to pay 5,000 ringgit and default 6 months jail, while Muhammad Muzammil Zamri, 30, to pay 4,000 ringgit or 5 months in jail. The 2 men committed the offence on Muhammad Isha Abdullah Ngah, 38, via Gabungan Anak Terengganu Originals Facebook account on January 1st. They were charged under Section 506 of the Penal Code, which carries a jail term of 2 years or fine or both upon conviction.
Saudara dia? Dia saudara?
Over in Perak, a 24-year-old man was arrested in Ipoh today after admitting to beating a teenager to death with a hammer. The suspect had believed that the 18-year-old victim, Siti Sufia Halim Ong, was in a romantic relationship with someone else. The victim was found dead by her mother at her home in Pasiran, Bengkalan Timur, Taman Desa, Pakatan on Saturday morning. It is understood that the man had known Siti Sufia for 4 years and the two were believed to be merely close friends. According to the victim's mother, Siti Sayati Kamil, the duo chatted in the house for over an hour and there was no sign of anything wrong. However, she found her daughter dead at 7:30 a.m. the next morning. An autopsy revealed that the victim suffered a brain hemorrhage, fractured skull, along with cuts and bruises to the head. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for murder. In Selangor, an attempted robbery at a jewellery shop in Bukit Tinggi, Klang, was thwarted on Saturday night when one of the 2 suspects was caught red-handed by members of the public. Klang Selatan District Police Chief ACP Shamsul Amaramli said in the 10 p.m. incident, the shop workers were preparing to close the premises for the day when the 2 male suspects armed with hammers barged in. The suspects then smashed the glass display counter before escaping with jewellery. The duo tried to flee when a security guard pointed a gun at them, but a few shoppers gave chase and managed to nab one of the suspects, a 19-year-old male, and retrieve the stolen items. Efforts are now underway to track down the other suspect. Over in Kedah, a man was ordered by the Alor Star Sessions Court to undergo psychiatric observation at Hospital Bahagia Ulu Kinta in Tanjung Rambutan after his guilty plea was rejected. The accused, Muhammad Ayatul Firdaus Masri, 40, was charged with setting on fire a mosque official in front of the Al-Hasanah Mosque at Taman Wira Mergong last Wednesday. Judge Joidah Abad ordered that the accused undergo psychiatric examination for a month and a report on his mental health to be submitted by a psychiatrist. According to the charge, Muhammad Ayatul intentionally caused hurt to Amri Budin, 67, by splashing him with kerosene and then setting him on fire just before prayers at 6:10 a.m. The court set March 24th for re-mention of the case for submission of the medical report. Up next, man shot dead by police outside hotel in Brisbane. The details after this breather. We move on to news on the foreign front now. In Turkey, rescue workers raced against time to find survivors trapped under collapsed buildings in the Van province after a magnitude 5.7 earthquake struck near the border with Iran earlier on Sunday, killing at least 9 people and wounding 21 others. According to European Mediterranean Seismological Centre, the EMSC, the quake that hit at around 9:24 a.m. local time had a depth of 6 kilometres, with its epicentre at the Kotur district. It is understood that the tremor affected about 43 villages nearby the province, damaging some 1,066 buildings. Turkey Interior Minister Süleyman Soylu, meanwhile, said 3 of those killed were children, adding that the death toll may rise as 8 of the injured were in critical condition. Five men believed to be militants were killed in a clash with security forces in Cho Airong in Narathiwat, southern Thailand on Sunday. Commander of the 46th Ranger Forces Regiment, Songdej Suknoy, said the Rangers had tracked down a group of armed men at Bukit Tawe near Kampung Air Setia since Saturday night. Around 10:30 a.m. on Sunday, a gun battle broke out between the Rangers and the group of armed men for almost 20 minutes. The Rangers later found 5 dead bodies at the scene. The authorities are tracking down at least 2 men who managed to escape. Over in Australia, a man has been shot dead by police outside a hotel in Brisbane's central business district. Queensland police said the man had allegedly stabbed another man on Mary Street at about 10 a.m. local time. Detective Superintendent Tony Fleming said the man approached a couple outside the hotel and it escalated from there. The couple said the man was behaving strangely and pulled a knife out of a bag. The woman fled back to the hotel, but the man she was with was stabbed. It was understood that the male victim was struck in the face by the man who broke his nose and injured his lip before stabbing him in the back. The police said the pair were not from Australia and did not know the man. Now, before we wrap up tonight's Nightline, let's have a look at what's been installed on the front pages of Malaysia's main newspapers upcoming this Monday, February 24th. 3 newspapers, namely the New Straits Times, Harian Metro and Berita Harian, highlight the speculation of a new government coalition and the possibility of changes in the local political landscape. Whereas a report on how COVID-19 could cost Malaysia's economy 5.9 billion ringgit this year gets the front page of the Malaysian Reserve. Be among the first to get your copies tomorrow. In Bolivia, dancers in elaborate costumes look to the streets of the historic mining town of Oruro to perform traditional carnival songs and dances in an annual ceremony recognized as a UNESCO masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity. Let's have a look. With that, I'm Anita Wu. Thank you for tuning in and good night.